मालिक हिंदुस्तान हमारा। हम हैं इसके मालिक हिंदुस्तान हमारा, पाक वतन है कौम का जन्नत से भी प्यारा। ये है हमारी मिल्कियत हिंदुस्तान हमारा, इसकी रूहानियत से रोशन है ये जग सारा। कितना कदीम कितना नईम सब दुनिया से न्यारा, करती है जरखेज जिसे गंगो जमन की धारा। हम हैं इसके मालिक हिंदुस्तान हमारा, पाक वतन है कौम का जन्नत से भी प्यारा। ऊपर बर्फीला पर्वत पहरेदार हमारा, नीचे साहिल पर बैठा सागर का नक्कारा। ऊपर बर्फीला पर्वत पहरेदार हमारा, नीचे साहिल पर बजता सागर का नक्कारा। इसकी खाने उगल रही है सोना हीरा पारा, इसकी शानो शौकत का दुनिया में जयकारा। आया फिरंगी दूर से ऐसा मंतर मारा, लूटा दोनों हाथों से प्यारा वतन हमारा। हम हैं इसके मालिक हिंदुस्तान हमारा, पाक वतन है कौम का जन्नत से भी प्यारा। आज शहीदों ने तुम्हें अहले वतन ललकारा, तोड़ो गुलामी की जंजीरें बरसाओ अंगारा। आज शहीदों ने है तुम्हें अहले वतन ललकारा, तोड़ो गुलामी की जंजीरें बरसाओ अंगारा। हिंदू मुस्लिम सिख हमारा भाई भाई प्यारा, ये है आजादी का झंडा इसे सलाम हमारा। हम हैं इसके मालिक हिंदुस्तान हमारा। In the translation in English, we are its owner, Hindustan is ours, our nation is sacred, dearer than heaven. World is aglow with the light of its soul. How old, how new, best of all world, our very own Hindustan is ours. Flow of Ganga and Yamuna makes our land fertile. Overhead, snow-clad mountains are century towering below. Trumpets of sea beating against coasts from mines and gold and diamond overflow. Our pomp and splendor best in the world. Then came Firangi from far land, cast a magical spell, looted our dear land with both hands. Today, the martyrs call upon the whole nation. Break the shackles of slavery, pour out fire, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, all beloved brothers. This is the flag of our freedom. Hail and salute it. This is my poem, Baat Haq Ki. This is from the perspective of underprivileged people and their rights. Or I should say underprivileged kids and their rights. हम तड़प बेचने आए हैं, खरीदोगे? हम तड़प बेचने आए हैं, खरीदोगे? बहुत सस्ती है लेकिन खास। प्रचार करोगे, फेमस हो जाओगे, नेता हो तो वोट पाओगे, पत्रकार हो तो नोट पाओगे। हम तड़प बेचने आए हैं, खरीदोगे? इस तड़प को खरीद लो, 2 रोटी दे दो, माँ को 2 गज कपड़ा, बहन को दुपट्टा, बाप को इज्जत का कफन दे दो, बदले में हमारी तड़प ले लो बाबू। बोलो खरीदोगे? हम तड़प बेचने आए हैं, बहुत सस्ती है लेकिन खास। लेकिन एक वो दिन भी आएगा, आजादी का सूरज छाएगा, मेरी तड़प की छाती पर ज्ञान की किरणें छाएंगी, मैं उस दिन वापस आऊंगा। उस दिन मैं वापस आऊंगा, बात हक की लाऊंगा, मेरे हिस्से की चांदनी भी मेरे हिस्से में आएगी। एक दिन मैं वापस आऊंगा, बात हक की मैं लाऊंगा। The English translation, a very loose translation, is this: we have come to sell our agony. Will you buy it? It's very cheap but special. Promote it. You will become famous. If you are a leader, you will get votes. If you are a journalist, you will get money. Buy this agony. Give us food. Give my mother a piece of clothing. Give sister a scarf. Give father a shroud of dignity. In return, take her agony. Sir, will you buy it? We have come to sell our agony. It's very cheap but special. But that day will come too. The sun of freedom will shine on my yearning's pedestal. The rays of knowledge will fall. On that day I will return and demand my share. Even the moonlight will come to my share. One day I will return and demand my rights. Thank you.
So before I move to my poem, which is Aam Aadmi, I just want to read first time to the world the gift of words that came to me through my father. I want to read his poem, which is called Self-Woven Web, Illusion of Freedom, and then I'll go to my poem. This is my father's, Chaman Lal Kashru, who's writing Kashmiri as well as English. This is his poem. The day ended juggling between me and mine. The day ended juggling between me and mine. Again I got entangled in the web called life. Woven with the unbridled desires, ambition and greed, to conquer the seas and capture the sky. The illusion ended very soon. My hands empty, they always are. I land in a deep, dark, narrow ditch of self-pity, hardly enough to even accommodate me, like a silkworm in a cocoon, reeling in the intoxicating winds of ego, drenched in selfishness, imprisoned by desires, unmindful of what is around and what is beyond. Like a friendly whisper, my consciousness awakened me, stirred me to come out of this slumber of ignorance. When I dared to open the doors and windows of mind, I found difference between the world of existence and the world of realization. Hands were still empty, but you know what? Maybe that's what it's meant to be. The beauty of life lies within the life itself. Endowed with a sense of realization, the instinct of emergence from the state of worldly self to existence of selflessness and immersion into the infinite. Where the mind exists, rest vanishes. This breaking of illusion is a real freedom worth fighting for. This is my father's poem. Now my poem is, I'm going to turn the tables a little bit. We all been using very good words and very just, fight for our rights. But what about us? What about our responsibilities? Can we look within us? So this is just a satirical take on that. Basically, as we always say, that rights versus responsibilities. So it's a satirical take on the fact that many of us fight, but would not even do these small kinds of acts of kindness. The hypocrisy. We hate politicians, but we do not vote. We hate when we objectify women, we hate that. But in the secret chambers of our cars, we listen to rap songs that do just the same. So this is just a comment on that, and it's a comment on all of us, including me. Okay? Here it goes. मैं आम आदमी हूँ. मैं आम आदमी हूँ. मुझे बस उंगली उठाना आता है. मैं आम आदमी हूँ. मुझे बस उंगली उठाना आता है. मेरी जिम्मेदारियों का दायरा मेरे दरवाजे पे खत्म हो जाता है. अरे मैं आम आदमी हूँ. मैं आम आदमी हूँ. मुझे बस उंगली उठाना आता है. मेरी जिम्मेदारियों का दायरा मेरे दरवाजे पे खत्म हो जाता है. रिश्वत बाबा मुझे हर सजा से बचाता है. रिश्वत बाबा मुझे हर सजा से बचाता है. रास्ते के कचरे में मेरा हफ्ता रोज जाता है. मैं तो बस बस आम आदमी हूँ, मुझे बस उंगली उठाना आता है। मैं सेल्फ सफिशिएंट हूँ पर बाई की छुट्टी पे बहुत गुस्सा आता है। मैं सेल्फ सफिशिएंट हूँ पर बाई की छुट्टी पे गुस्सा आता है। राष्ट्रभाषा में बात करने वाले HMT यानी हिंदी मीडियम टाइप्स कहलाता है। मैं वोट नहीं देता। आई एम कूल, आई डोंट वोट। मैं वोट नहीं देता पर नेता की तरक्की देखकर मेरा खून खौल जाता है। एक्सीडेंट विक्टिम को देखते ही मेरा पैर एक्सेलरेटर पर जाता है, क्योंकि मैं बस आम आदमी हूँ। मेरी जिम्मेदारियों का दायरा मेरे दरवाजे पे खत्म हो जाता है। तारे जमीन पर मेरी फेवरेट फिल्म है। तारे जमीन पर मेरी फेवरेट फिल्म है, पर मेरा तारा 5 क्लासेस जाता है। एक निर्भया मरती है तो कई मरती हुई चैनल्स का TRP बढ़ जाता है। मुझे रेप पर बहुत गुस्सा आता है। मुझे रेप पर सचमुच बहुत गुस्सा आता है, पर मेरी कार में हनी सिंह ही गाता है। मुझे रेप पर गुस्सा आता है, पर मेरी कार में हनी सिंह ही गाता है। मैं वो हूँ जो सर उठा नहीं सकता तो उंगली ही उठाता है। वैलेंटाइंस डे पे मेरी बहुत आस्था है। वैलेंटाइंस डे पर मेरी बहुत आस्था है, पर करवा चौथ सो यस्टरडे हो जाता है। लिविंग रूम में बार लगते ही मैं कूल और मेरा स्टेटस हॉट हो जाता है। और अकेला भगवान आजकल किचन के कोनों में घर बनाता है। मेरे हिस्से के घर की धूप मेरा EMI खा जाता है। मेरे बच्चे को संस्कार भी अब टीवी ही सिखाता है। पति साथ है पर आई लव यू का स्टेटस फेसबुक पे ही जाता है। सुबह धर्मों और शाम को कर्मों का चित्रहार टीवी पर रोज आता है। कोविड की कहानी का विलन भी कोई चमगादड़ी बन जाता है। अब मुझे गुस्सा भी नहीं आता, बस इस बात का गुस्सा आता है। अब मुझे गुस्सा भी नहीं आता, इस बात का गुस्सा आता है, क्योंकि मैं बस आम आदमी हूँ। मुझे बस उंगली उठाना आता है। थैंक यू।
Hello everyone. Can you guys hear me well?
Yeah.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here today. This is my first time at this event. So I want to thank Manish, who introduced me and invited me to the event, and I'm getting an opportunity to perform today. So very kind of you, and thanks for being a great audience so far. I also want to kind of comment on the poets that came before me. It was wonderful poetry, so thanks for sharing. It was very emotional and took probably a lot of heart to write those, so I just want to commend your work. My name is Ananya Jain, as you can see on the slide. I work at a biotech company here in Cambridge, and that's something that I do to make money, and I do like to write poems for myself. So I started writing poems when I was at the age of 16, and since then I've written I think around 300 poems, and I'm super excited to share this one today. This is called Kahan Hai Adhikar Mera. Basically the question is, where is my right? And I will not do a complete translation of my poetry, but I'm happy to share the text if someone would want to kind of do a Google Translate later on. But the gist of the poem is, this is for a person who is trying to achieve something in life, and who's feeling compelled, and who's feeling that the situations of life is not letting this person grow. This is the frustration of that person asking God, where is my right to move forward? Where is my right to thrive? So that's the gist of the poem. And at the end, the person is asking, like, should I just leave it on you and then you let me figure out my path forward? Would that be a better approach to my life? Okay, so it is titled as Kahan Hai Adhikar Mera. मजबूर करके छोड़ा है, हालातों ने पूरा जकड़ के छोड़ा है। कितनी भी कोशिश कर लूं, बेड़ियों ने कस के पकड़ा है। कहां है मेरी आजादी, कहां है अधिकार मेरा? माना कि आसान नहीं है मंजिल पाना, पर इतना कठिन भी ना लो इंतकाम मेरा। मेरा भी हक है आजादी, मेरा भी हक है जिंदा रहना। सांसें लेना बस काफी नहीं, कुछ तो बुलंद हो अंजाम मेरा। लकीरें खाली लकीरें हैं, सितारे बिना का आसमान मेरा। माना के दौड़ लंबी है मगर दशकों से ढूंढ रहा हूं उजाला मेरा। छीनने की कोशिश भी नाकाम रही, छीनने की कोशिश भी नाकाम रही। सब्र से भी काम कुछ बना नहीं, छीनने की कोशिश भी नाकाम रही, सब्र से भी काम कुछ बना नहीं। तो कब तक होगा ये हाल मेरा? कोई राह मिलेगी या फिर छोड़ दूं खुदा पे ही हाल मेरा? छीनने की कोशिश भी नाकाम रही, सब्र से भी काम कुछ बना नहीं। तो कब तक होगा ये हाल मेरा? कोई राह मिलेगी या फिर छोड़ दो खुदा पे ही हाल मेरा? क्या कभी बनेगा सफर मंजिल तक का? क्या कभी बनेगा सफर मंजिल तक का? और क्या कुछ बनेगा बड़ा नाम मेरा? क्या कुछ बढ़ेगा बड़ा नाम मेरा? थैंक यू।
Hello friends, my name is Meena Wahi and I'm going to read my poem in Hindi and then I'll give you brief summary in English. अधिकारों की मांग, this is the title. Demands of my rights. लोगों की बातें, बातों में चर्चा अधिकारों की, बातों में चर्चा अधिकारों की। कोई मांगे अपने अधिकारों को, कोई छीने सबके अधिकारों को। संविधान में मानव अधिकारों का गठन हुआ, लोकतंत्र की ढाल पर मानव अधिकारों का संगठन हुआ। संविधान ने जब मानव अधिकारों का गठन किया, आजादी थी तब अभिव्यक्ति की, आजादी थी तब अभिव्यक्ति की। लोकतंत्र की ये ऐसी शक्ति थी, शक्ति का फिर दुरुपयोग हुआ, शक्ति का फिर दुरुपयोग हुआ। हर नीति का बस केवल विरोध दर विरोध हुआ। धर्मों की आजादी क्या मिली? हर धर्म दूसरे धर्म का कातिल हुआ, हर धर्म दूसरे धर्म का कातिल हुआ। मानव अधिकारों के तराजू में हर शक्तिशाली का तोल हुआ। अधिकारों के लिए लड़ रहा है समाज, अनशन आंदोलन पर अड़ा है समाज। हर मुद्दे पर पार्टीबाजी हो रही है, घटिया राजनीति में भ्रष्ट नेताओं की कामयाबी हो रही है। भूखी जनता रोटी कपड़े को तरस रही है। जनता के पैसे से नेताजी सड़कें, पुल और फैक्ट्रियों को बनाने की आड़ में डकार ले रहे हैं, अंधी भेड़ों यानी भ्रष्ट नेताओं की अगवानी में अधिकारों के लिए बस लड़ाई हो ही रही है। संविधान की धाराओं को नेता अपने स्वार्थ की गटर में बहा रहे हैं और जनता अधिकारों पर लड़ाई लड़ रही है। हमारा अन्नदाता किसान अधिकारों की लड़ाई में पिस रहा है। रोज नए आंदोलन होते हैं पर नेताजी भी चिकना घड़ा है, क्योंकि हर कानून की तोड़ मरोड़ उन्हें आती है। महिला अपने अधिकारों की बात किससे कहे? जो उसे जन्मने से पहले ही कोख में मार देता है, या जो पिता होकर उसके सपनों पर संस्कारों का अंकुश लगा देता है, उसको भी पंख लगाकर अपनी कामयाबी का आसमान छूने का अधिकार पाना है। बहुत बन चुकी वो भोली बेचारी अबला नारी। बनना है उसको अब दुर्गा चंडी और महाकाली, जो बन के शक्ति नवीन समाज का नव निर्माण करे, जहाँ मिले सबको सम्मान और मिले सबको समान अधिकार। थैंक यू। अभी इसका I'll read a little bit of summary in English. Demand of rights. Constitution was created to reinforce human rights under democracy. Public could choose their leaders to serve them with their rights. Leaders who are corrupt and busy with their own selfish goals. They are snatching rights from poor and needy people and the farmers. Fairness, farmers' struggle is going on, but the leaders are not providing the needful. Women should empower themselves to create a new reinforced society where everyone have equal rights and everyone can live with respect and dignity. Thank you.
Namaskar. So we cannot retain freedom or our rights unless we complete our duties as said by Sunaina ji. And so with your permission, I'll start my poetry, which is in Hindi. We'll try to do Google Translate as said by Anand. धीर वीरों ने सिंचाई की स्वयं के रक्त की बलिदानों से पाई है पाई दान में ये नहीं। धीर वीरों ने सिंचाई की स्वयं के रक्त की बलिदानों से पाई है पाई दान में ये नहीं। स्वतंत्रता है मेरा अधिकार, स्वतंत्रता है मेरा अधिकार। मानूं किसी को या नहीं, आदर किसी का कम नहीं। मानूं किसी को या नहीं, आदर किसी का कम नहीं। अनुयायी मैं किसका बनूं, कहना नहीं मुझसे कभी। मानूं किसी को या नहीं, आदर किसी का कम नहीं। अनुयायी मैं किसका बनूं, कहना नहीं मुझसे कभी। मेरा धर्म है मेरा स्वाधिकार, मेरा धर्म है मेरा अधिकार। बांटे नहीं मुझको कोई मेरी जाति मेरे रंग पर, बांटे नहीं मुझको कोई मेरी जाति मेरे रंग पर। ना हो आरक्षण ना कभी हो योग्यता तितर बितर। बांटे नहीं मुझको कोई मेरी जाति मेरे रंग पर। ना हो आरक्षण ना कभी हो योग्यता तितर बितर। समानता है मेरा अधिकार, समानता है मेरा अधिकार। शिक्षा मिले समान ना हो भूख से कभी सामना। शिक्षा मिले समान ना हो भूख से कभी सामना। हो चिकित्सा प्राप्त ना, उपचार को हो टालना। शिक्षा मिले समान ना हो भूख से कभी सामना। हो चिकित्सा प्राप्त ना, उपचार को है टालना। सुरक्षा भी है मेरा अधिकार, सुरक्षा भी है मेरा अधिकार। परिणाम की चिंता से उपजे मन में ना विकार। परिणाम की चिंता से उपजे मन में ना विकार। कल हुआ क्या कल क्या होगा व्यर्थ ये विचार। परिणाम की चिंता से उपजे मन में ना विकार। कल हुआ क्या कल क्या होगा व्यर्थ ये विचार। कर्म ही मेरा स्वाधिकार, कर्म ही मेरा अधिकार। कर्म कर समर्पित कर्म कर, नीति को कर स्वीकार, कर समर्पित कर्म कर, नियति को कर स्वीकार, कर्म ही मेरा अधिकार, कर्म ही मेरा स्वाधिकार। श्री कृष्ण ने कही थी जो गीता का यही सार, श्री कृष्ण ने कही थी जो गीता का यही सार, कर्म ही मेरा स्वाधिकार, कर्म ही मेरा अधिकार। Thank you. Little bit Google translation because I could do it here. So, brave heroes bartered with their own blood. I got it from sacrifice. I didn't get it in charity. Freedom is my right. Freedom is my right. I follow someone or not. Respect is not less for anyone. I follow someone or not. Respect is not less for anyone. Whose follower should I be? Whose follower should I be? Never tell me. My freedom is my right. My religion is my right. My religion is my right. No one divides me on my caste, on my color. There should be no reservation. No merit should be scattered. Equality is my right. Equality is my right. Should get equal education. Should never face hunger. Get treatment. Don't postpone treatment. Security is also my right. Security is also my right. Worrying about the result. Don't create this disorder in your mind. What happened yesterday? What will happen tomorrow? These thoughts are fertile. Karma is my right. Karma is my right. Do dedicated work. Accept destiny. Karma is my right. Karma is my right. Sri Krishna had said this is the essence of the Gita. Karma is my right. Karma is my right. Thank you.
My name is Prem Nagar, and the poetry is in Hindi, अप्रवासियों की दुविधा, the duality, the immigrant's dilemma. Now this is the take I'm having on this idea of right, and let me go through the idea itself. So the immigrants, which we all are, leave their country, their culture, their people, to explore their future in a new country. They seek what is offered to them, those opportunities, the environment, and the culture to foster their future. They leverage their strength and patience, huge patience, to meet with the challenges to seek their dream or dream life. They come with their language, their culture, their food. When they travel, we all travel with this. And they yearn for belonging, to remain emotionally conflicted for a long time. So the poem has 7 stanzas, and each has a subtitle. The first one, you are waking up, like I woke up. मैंने आईना देखा तो पाया कि मैं ढल सा गया हूं। मैंने आईना देखा तो पाया मैं ढल सा गया हूं। मेरे पास जीने का समय कम और बीता टल ज्यादा है। मैंने आईना देखा तो मैंने पाया कि मैं ढल सा गया हूं। मेरे पास जीने का समय कम और बीता टल ज्यादा है। तो विचार आया कि इस बचे समय में कुछ ठीक से जी लूं। तो तो विचार आया कि इस बचे समय को मैं ठीक से जी लूं, तो सोचा तो पाया कि आप्रवासियों की मेल मिलाप की दुविधा में है। द सेकेंड, द रिग्रेट, पछतावा। परदेसी हुए हम अपने और परिवार के भविष्य के लिए। पश्चाताप अपनों को छोड़ने का पर अपनी राह ढूंढने के लिए। परदेसी हुए हम अपने और परिवार के भविष्य के लिए, पश्चाताप अपनों को छोड़ने का पर अपनी राह को ढूंढने के लिए, अपने सपनों को पाने के लिए। ये थी मेरी तकरार। That was my argument internally. ये ना उपहार था ना चमत्कार, ये थी मेरी एक पुकार। The third one, the initiative. हम महासागरों से अलग और अपनेपन के भूखे इस देश को हमने अपनाया, अपनी पहचान को बनाया। हम महासागरों से अलग और अपनों को अपनेपन के भूखे इस देश को हमने अपनाया, अपनी पहचान को बनाया। नए देश को हमने सहलाया, जिसने दी नई पहचान हमें, हमारा परिचय, संगति, पहचान असीमित हमें। कल्चर, संस्कृति। जन्मा और अपने देश की पहली सुलझाना आसान नहीं है। The born country and adopted country. जन्मा और अपने देश की पहली सुलझाना आसान नहीं। पूर्वजों और स्वीकार्य देश का द्वंद्व सहज नहीं। अप्रवासियों की दुविधा सुलझाने ना सुलझे, संकोच, रहन सहन, अब प्रकृति अंत तक कम नहीं। बिलोंगिंग, अपनापन। हम पहली पीढ़ी के अप्रवासी, पर बच्चे तो इसमें टिके हैं। हम पहली पीढ़ी के अप्रवासी, पर बच्चे तो इसमें टिके हैं। हमें कोई पश्चाताप नहीं लोगों के विनम्र सुझावों से। हमें कोई पश्चाताप नहीं लोगों के विनम्र सुझावों से। हमारी याचना सहयोग, समन्वय से भरपूर। बस लोगों में सद्भावना हो, यही मेरी कामना रहे। Active generation, the sixth one. शिक्षा ने यहाँ बच्चों के मन को स्वतंत्र किया। ऊंचे विचार, उत्तम लक्षण, बुद्धि से साराबोर किया। ज्ञान से हुआ फलदायी, तो कार्य में कुशलता आई। पारिवारिक संस्कारों से प्रभावित मन भाई। The last one, the rights. स्वाधिकार, ये ना विशेषाधिकार ना आरक्षित अधिकार। स्वाधिकार, ये ना विशेषाधिकार ना आरक्षित अधिकार, मेरी सुविधा के लिए है, बना है स्वाधिकार। मेरा स्वाधिकार, ये तो मेरा है अधिकार। विचारों से उचित परिपूर्ण हुआ मेरा स्वाधिकार। थैंक यू। द ट्रांसलेशन गोes, when I looked at the mirror, my old age reflections had fallen a little. I have less time to live, but I had a longer time of yesterday. So I thought to live the remaining time differently, thought to attend to the immigrants and their dilemma. We became foreigners for our and family's future. We repent for leaving behind our loved ones, but we set out to find our own ways. To touch dreams, here is the idea, which was neither a gift nor a miracle, but this was my calling. We are separated from the families by the oceans, and we are yearning for belonging. We adopted the country, now we soak up our own identity. We adore the new country which gave us a new identity. Our association, acquaintance, homogeneity remain limitless. It's not easy to solve the riddle of the country one is born or one has adopted. The conflict between ancestral land and adopted country is not natural. The dilemma of immigrants does not end if it is not resolved. Hesitation, nature would resist till the end. We are first generation immigrants, but the children are born here. We have no regrets about the people's humble suggestions. Our solicitation is full of cooperation and coordination. We wish people that they never lack the sense of belonging. Education made the children free to live with high thoughts and goals. Knowledge flourishes and bears fruits, which is manifested in action. Families and children driven by the notion of their fair value. A right, neither a privilege nor a reserved right. For my convenience, self-right is made. Where is my right? It is mine. Ethics is my whole thought and roots of my prerogatives. Thank you.
I'm Geeta Patil. The title of my poem is The Rights of a River. As we all know, rivers are the planet's channels of life and are linked to humans' well-being, economy, history, spirituality and politics, as well as to the culture. Yet our legal systems and societies are not well equipped to protect the rights of the rivers and their inhabitants. Even though there is a growing global movement sets out to change this by legally recognizing and implementing the inherent rights of rivers, such as the right to exist, flourish and regenerate. For a poet, each river, it seems like each river, like other non-human living systems, demanding the recognition of their basic rights by everyone. The poem goes like this. I'm not just a flow of running water. I am lively and lovely river. I'm not just a flow of running water. I am a lively and lovely river. I am a wanderer, a nomad, a tramp. I do not choose to stay in one place. I keep on flowing and flowing, taking sharp twists and turns, countless ups and downs. I keep on flowing and flowing, taking sharp twists and turns, countless ups and downs, through the valleys and the hills. Then, all of a sudden, I fall down into a beautiful waterfall and fill the natural pool below. I flow swiftly and excitedly over the beds of rocks and pebbles. I flow swiftly and excitedly over the beds of rocks and the pebbles, bubbling and giggling with fun, bringing warmth and delight to others. I flow generously to hug the banks with my gentle waves. I flow generously to hug the banks with my gentle waves. I flow to greet farms and gardens, provide irrigation and navigation, and reap golden harvest out of me. For times immemorial, I give water to thirsty throats along the shores. Full of marine life resides in me. For times immemorial, I give water to thirsty throats along the shores. Full of marine life resides in me. I flow peacefully across forests, villages and cities, silencing the hearts and cleansing all the sins as a sacred stream. I flow peacefully across forests, villages and cities, silencing the hearts and cleansing all the sins as a sacred stream. The cycle of natural evolution completes its rotation and joins again the passage without doubt. The cycle of natural evolution completes its rotation and joins again the passage without doubt. Don't build bridges. Let me be merged into the stream, into the sea of serenity. Let me lose my identity as a river. Do not build bridges. Let me be merged into sea of serenity. Let me lose my identity as a river and unite with other rivers and become a mighty ocean and attain the eternal bliss. I wait here to touch the sky and flow back as graces from the sky without an end. I wait here to touch the sky and flow back as graces from the sky without an end. Again, the flow of river is an endless ride, even when it reaches the tides. Again, the flow of river is an endless ride, even when it reaches the tides. I am a vessel of constant force, covering the world as I flow along an ever-changing course. I sculpt the landscape of the earth and make the world move through me. I sculpt the landscape of the earth and make the world move through me. That's it. Thank you, everyone.
All right, we're running late, but we'll complete it. So my poem, I wrote in English, My Rights. Be joy mistress. Rights, I have a world, I have a right to live. Dignity, I have a world, I have a right to give. I have air, water, food. I do seek your friendship. I give love. I give association. I support you in your hardship. I like my land. I like the nature. I like the natural grandeur. Please don't displace me, O powerful, from my own native splendor. You need slaves. You need labor. I have been trapped in your shackles. Please be kind. Release me, sir. I may escape the unseemly echoes. I have been oppressed. I have been abused. I have been denied. I have been ridiculed. My poverty is a token. My heart is of gold. My dress may be torn. Truth and God I hold. I'm free, my dear, no chains to restrain. I'm the air, I'm the sun, no world would contain. I have my rights, O world, right to my life, my humanity. I declare my freedom, O world, free from the chains, to live in dignity. Thank you. So
I am going to read a poem by Rabindranath Tagore, and this is about children's rights, growing up children. And in India, still there is a tendency to guide them through college, maybe marriage, everything. And that is of excess of love from parents. So Tagore is discouraging that they should have their own rights, own sense of humanity. So this is about that. স্নেহগ্রাস অন্ধ মোহ বন্ধ তব দাও মুক্ত করি রেখো না বসায় দ্বারে জাগ্রত প্রহরী হে জননী আপনার স্নেহ কারাগারে সন্তানের চিরজন্ম বন্দি রাখিবারে বেষ্টন করিয়া তারে আগ্রহ পরশে জীর্ণ করি দিয়া তারে লালনের রসে মনুষ্যত্ব স্বাধীনতা করিয়া শোষণ আপন ক্ষুধিত চিত্ত করিবে পোষণ দীর্ঘ গর্ভবাস হতে জন্ম দিলে যার স্নেহ গর্ভের গ্রাসিয়া কি রাখিবে আবার চলিবে সে সংসারে তব পিছু পিছু সে কি শুধু অংশ তব আর নহে কিছু নিজের সে বিশ্বের সে বিশ্বদেবতা সন্তান নহে গো মাত সম্পত্তি তোমার নিজের সে বিশ্বের সে বিশ্বদেবতার সন্তান নহে গো মাত সম্পত্তি তোমার. That's my poem, and now I read the translation. This is Rabindranath is saying more than 100 years ago he was writing, so like he is addressing the mother, but I think it's equally fits for both parents. Let your child go free from your blind love. And the title is Captivating Love. Oh mother, you want to keep your children imprisoned for all their life with your captivating love, surrounding them with excessive care and love. You want to take away their sense of humanity and their rights. Would you feed your hungry heart like that? You gave birth to your child after long 9 months in your womb. Would you put the child back in another womb of captivating love? Would you like your children to walk behind you all their life? Is your child only a part of you and nothing else? Then poet concludes, he or she belongs to himself or herself. He or she belongs to the world. And he or she belongs to the Creator or God. Oh mother, your child is not your property.
My name is Alok Day, and my title of the poem is Truth. There is a country there who has taken truth as its mantra. Every court you go there, High Court, Supreme Court, or any court, there is a big letters, it says, truth ultimately wins. And under that picture, under that writing, there are two pictures. One is they call Bapu, other one they call Chacha. And these two people have never been truthful in their whole life. The ultimate one was partition on my dead body. For that he paid a price, Nathu get rid of him. And Nathu was hanged to death. And Nathu's thing, whatever he said, was never published. It was banned. Starting from there, I go to the truth as what Rabindranath Tagore wrote about truth. রূপ নারায়ণের কুলে জেগে উঠিলাম আমি, জানিলাম এ জগৎ স্বপ্ন নয়। রঙের অক্ষরে, রক্তের অক্ষরে দেখিলাম আমার রূপ, চিনিলাম আপনাকে আঘাতে আঘাতে, বেদনায় বেদনায়। সত্য যে কঠিন, কঠিনকে ভালোবাসিলাম, সে কখনো করে না বঞ্চন। মৃত্যুর তপস্যা করিয়া এই জীবন, সত্যের দারুণ মূল্য লাভ করিবারে মৃত্যুকে সকল দেনা শোধ করে দিতে হবে। Rabindranath said, truth is very hard to get. You have to fight whole life to get the truth. If that comes, you have to do it. Otherwise, truth is not available easily.
And the patriots did the same thing with their lives. A lot of young people died and died in the distant place called Andaman and Nicobar Island. Thank you.
It is indeed an honor for me to be here to share with you through a recording about the beloved Mama Ruth Hill. I am Mama Linda Goss. I am the co-founder of the National Association of Black Storytellers Incorporated. And we loved, and we still love, Brother Blue and Mama Ruth. They were at the very first festival we had back in 1983. They were there in 1984 when we organized the National Association of Black Storytellers. They were charter members of this great organization. They were founding members. They were life members. We rewarded them. We gave them our highest award, the Zora Hurston Award. We even created an award in honor of Brother Blue called the Brother Blue Esteemed Elders Award. And indeed, we have brought many people into the circle, the Brother Blue Circle of Elders Award. And we've been doing this award for many, many years. And we hope to create an award in honor and in memory of Mama Ruth. I share this song with you that reflects what she was all about. Lighting the way, story walking, lighting the way, rhythm talking, through the night, through the day. Storytellers are lighting the way, lighting the way, story walking, lighting the way, rhythm talking, through the night, through the day. Mama Ruth was lighting the way, Mama Tree, talking drum, Brother Nancy, here they come, Sis Turtle, ah, butterfly, flying high in the sky, telling tales grandfolks told, Brother Rabbit jumping in his hole, through the night, through the day. Mother Ruth was lighting the way, story walking, lighting the way, rhythm talking, through the night, through the day. Mama Ruth was lighting the way, story walking, lighting the way, rhythm talking, through the night, through the day. Mama Ruth was lighting the way. Now Mama Ruth, as well as Brother Blue, would want us to think about this. And they would ask us these questions. Storytellers, poets, what is your call? Storyteller, poet, what is your creed? Are you going to the people? Are you helping the children in need? Are you going to the prison yard, the school ground, to the neighborhood? Are you making the rounds? Because through the night, through the day, we will always, as storytellers and poets, we should always light the way. Lighting the way, story walking, lighting the way, rhythm talking, through the night, through the day. Mama Ruth was lighting the way, story walking, lighting the way, rhythm talking, through the night, through the day. Mama Ruth was lighting the way. Ashe, 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 ashe. We remember, we reclaim, we recall our ancestors' names. We remember we reclaim, we recall our ancestors' names. Black ancestor, warrior queen, Nana, Mama, Sister, Ruth Hill, Ashe, Ashe. Black ancestor, warrior queen, Mama, Nana, Ruth Edmonds Hill. Oh, how we remember her. Oh, yes, she was quiet, but we remember her spirit. We remember her devotion, her love toward her one and only Brother Blue. We remember her quiet smile. We remember her charm, Ashe, Ashe. Oh, we remember her light during the storm. We remember, we reclaim, we recall our ancestors' names. Black ancestor, warrior, queen, Nana, Mama, Ruth Hill. She was a woman of many talents. Oh, she knew her history. She knew about her people. Oh, yes, how we remember this great woman. A woman of few words, but she had millions and millions of documented words of interviews that were conducted about women, about black women, and about Asian women. So yes, we remember, we reclaim, we recall our great ancestors' names. Black ancestor, warrior, queen, Nana, Mama, Ruth, Edmund Hill. Mama Ruth is the high priestess of archival research and collection. Listen to me now. I say that Mama Ruth is the high priestess of archival research and collection. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Mama Ruth was the librarian extraordinaire of books and stories. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Listen to me now. Mama Ruth was the librarian extraordinaire of books and stories. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Mama Ruth is the great dame, scholarly gatekeeper, historian, journalist, interviewer, educator, and protector of the Oral History Project, which is housed at Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Who she loved, who she cared for, and who she protected the most was her soulmate, ancestor warrior King Baba, Dr. Hugh Morgan Hill, lovingly known as Brother Blue. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Brother Blue is the father of contemporary storytelling in America. Let me say that again. I say that Brother Blue is the father of contemporary storytelling in America. Let the sojourner truth be told. Let the sojourner truth be told. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Mama Ruth was the mother of contemporary oral history project on black women in America. Let me say that one more time. I say that Mama Ruth was the mother of contemporary oral history projects on black women in America. Let the sojourner truth be told. Ashe, 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 Ashe. Brother Blue was the great outspoken storyteller. Ashe, Ashe. Mama Ruth was the quiet but strong backbone. Brother Blue was Mama Ruth's butterfly. Mama Ruth was Brother Blue's gemstone. He was the butterfly on her sunflower. They were soulmates, a couple of love power, love power. Mother Ruth was Brother Blue's angel. Mama Ruth was Brother Blue's muse. Oh, they are together at last, enjoying shades of blues. Together Ooh, they have a glorious light. They had a glorious light that shone continuously all over this world. And now they are together and their light is shining both day and through the night, lighting the way, story walking, lighting the way, rhythm talking, through the night, through the day. Brother Blue and Mama Ruth will always light our way. Ashe, 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 ashe. We remember the ancestors. The ancestors are alive as long as we remember them. Asante Sana, Asante Sana. Thank you.
Our next reminiscence it would be from Michael. Michael Cohen. Okay.
Well, you've got the ritual thing, but you know, Ruth Edmonds Hill was a prodigy. She graduated from high school at the age of 16, and she came when her parents felt that she was older and more mature. Let her come to Cambridge.
Oh, you took the microphone here.
No, I don't need a microphone.
Okay.
Came to Cambridge, and she began a brilliant career as a librarian and an oral historian of people that the savants and the scholars and the ethnologists didn't bother to record. So she established the idea of going to minority populations, to marginalized people, to overlooked people, which, you know, all of us can feel that way. And she found these people and recorded their oral histories, and she won so many awards. She's like the GOAT, the greatest of all time of oral historians, you know, or the EGOT, you know. She, like, if there were, you know, if there was the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, whatever the T stands for, you know, she had them all. And she was a very grounded person. And she met Brother Blue, who was Hugh Morgan Hill. He was a veteran of World War II. He had been an officer in an all-black unit and had, while in uniform in the South of this country, had experienced horrible discrimination. And he's, you know, and he came back from the war and he went to Yale he studied here at Harvard and he studied at Yale, and he was learning playwriting and theater, and he just one day he showed up in class with some actual slave shackles that had been used to confine black slaves in the South. And he just started storytelling. And he was what people might call an air spirit. He was very light, and he would like kind of float off if Ruth hadn't been so grounded. So the stereotypical, like if a miming Ruth or doing charades, Ruth Hill would be this solid woman with a big smile, dressed in blue, with one arm up, holding the balloon that was Brother Blue. And because of them, because they talked about going into prisons to tell stories in prisons, I began volunteering at MCI Framingham, which is the women's prison, and I was coming in for 15 years through the Catholic chaplain's office. I'm Jewish, but I, for 15 years, went to Catholic chapel to visit and greet prisoners, you know, just as Brother Blue had said it. And Ruth was, well, you know, I don't know if any of you have studied English history, and then they have the Norman Conquest, and after the Norman Conquest was the Doomsday Book, where they wrote down where every piece of land was and who belonged to what, and the tax rolls, which were scrolls of all the deeds and property and what was taxes. And Ruth had the equivalent, and I'll explain. They started a weekly storytelling venue in Cambridge. So every week you could go and people would crowd the room and cram in into this bookstore, downstairs, a basement bookstore. People would cram in, and someone would get up and tell a story about a ghost. And then somebody else would get picked to tell, and they would tell a story about a wolf. And the next person their name would get picked, and they would say, well, this isn't the story I was gonna tell, but this is a story about a ghost wolf. And the whole rest of the night, people would be making up stories about ghost wolves, or remembering, or saying, well, So it was a thing, it was there, and they were welcoming people in off the street. And now here we get to the Doomsday Book and the tax roll, because every week they would have a feature. And we would sit there and say, this person must be incredible if Brother Blue and Ruth are letting them tell stories to us. And it took us all, it took me a while to realize, these are the people that had the gumption to get up and say, can I be a feature? And when I finally got up, the gumption after about a year of coming and listening to these stories, to say, can I be a feature? Ruth had this huge roll, like the English tax rolls, this huge roll of paper, and it was week by week, every Tuesday night for a year. So I was signing up for a year in advance because there were that many people that wanted to be a feature, and I have to explain, for a while, you know how Cambridge is, it's very artsy, but you could not go to a coffee house or an open mic or poetry reading or any kind of folksy event like that without seeing Brother Blue and Ruth. They were there at everything. It's like you just could not go out. They were out every night. I don't know what they did for dinner. I don't know how late they stayed up, although there's a legend that Brother Blue would call at midnight, would do a call in to a radio station in Japan that played jazz and American music and soul music, and he would do this free form jazz scat music thing with these other famous American jazz musicians. And supposedly he claimed that he was naked when he did it. And he was on the phone naked to Japan doing this free-form scat and jazz thing. So I don't know when they slept or whether they ever had dinner at home, but they were everywhere. And so if you met them, they immediately said, oh, if they liked what you were doing, they would say, yeah, come on, do this. So they would meet people in airports. Somebody would show up and say, oh, I'm the feature tonight. I met them in the airport in Iowa 6 months ago, and they signed me up. So it was just a thing, like you have your poetry thing, and this is an annual meeting, and you had to wait a whole year to do your poetry. And I'm thinking just, feeling how lucky that we were that finally, instead of the third Thursday or the second Tuesday, it was every week. And I felt terrible if I had to miss the week. And it was thanks to Ruth being so steady and keeping Brother Blue on course, that between them, yin and yang, in the spirit. And I'll mention one other thing. Brother Blue was a wild man, but he had this incredible ability to always find something nice to say about what you got up and told a story, and he would find something nice to say about it for everyone, person after person. He would find a way to compliment them, make them feel heard, and people would come in off the street, and we were just there every week, and what he lived for was the person who came in off the street and said, I've had this story in me for 30 years, and I've never felt like I could tell it. And Blue would be, tell it, brother, tell it. And they would say, they would look at the people sitting there, all, yes, we want to hear your story. and that person would tell the story, and you would feel so much better, and everyone would appreciate it. Because the great thing was there was no feedback or complaining, why did you do this, or but what if you did this, or it was just like tell your story, get appreciated, get applauded. So it was a wonderful thing for storytelling. And you know, I would love to tell you one of the stories that I came up with through being able to do this every week, but I'm sure there's more. Are we running behind schedule, ahead of schedule?
You can buy another 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'm adapting the story.
Use the microphone because they can record it.
No. A man is in the mountains hunting bear. And he's climbing up the slope. It's a steep slope. He's climbing up the slope. And there's some bushes up ahead of him, and they're kind of rustling and shaking. And suddenly he realizes there's something in the bushes. And the bushes shake, and then whatever's in the bushes stands up. It's a bear. And it sees the man and turns towards the man and goes, "Ugh!" And the man drops his rifle and clutches his heart, and he hears "Ugh!" and he turns around and he starts running down the mountain. He's running, he's running, he's running, and behind him he hears the bear crashing through the brush. And he runs down the slope of the mountain. He gets to the bottom where it's level, and he starts running, and he hears the bear behind him. And he gets to a paved road, and now he's running faster, but he can hear the bear's claws clicking on the road. And he comes to a curve in the road, and there, just off the road, is a small wayside chapel. And he turns and he runs across the yard, jumps over the steps, lands on his knees inside the chapel. And there's like a chalice, a glowing chalice on a pedestal. And he clasps his hands. And he says, "Oh, please, Spirit, whatever spirit there is, please help me." And there's a glow. There's a glow from the chalice. And he hears this angelic voice saying, "What is your wish, my child?" And he hears the bear coming in, and the bear is in the chapel with him. So he says, "Please make this bear a spiritual being." And the glow increases, and the voice says, "As you have asked, my child, so shall it be." And he looks over, and there the bear is kneeling right next to him. And the bear's hands are clasped, and the bear is looking up at the ceiling and the glowing light, and the bear is saying, "Dear Lord, please bless this food I'm about to eat."
He was bored. He said, "Ma, I'm so bored. What am I going to do?" Well, they lived on a farm. So one day, the mother told the little boy she was tired of hearing him complaining all the time that he was bored. She said, "Go for a walk." "Go for a walk?" She said, "Yes, but go for a walk and look for a little red house." What? A little red house with no windows, no door, and a star inside. Okay, fine. That sort of was a neat idea. He said, "Okay, see you later, Ma. Bye." And he opened the door and he started walking and looking and nothing. But then he remembered she said it was something little, so he thought maybe it was on the floor. So he went down on his knees and he was crawling. And whoop, and he bumped into the farmer. The farmer said, "What are you doing there, little boy?" He said, "Well, I'm looking for a little red house with no windows, no door, and a star inside." The farmer's mouth went, "What? Oh, never saw such a thing." Well, the little boy didn't give up. He said, "Okay, fine." And he continued searching. And as he was working, he saw the girl next door. He said, "Excuse me," to the little girl. She said, "Yes, what do you want?" And he told her what he was looking for. What was he looking for? A little red house with no windows, no door, and a star inside. The little girl said, "I'm sorry. I never saw such a thing." And she walked off. Looking for. And as the boy said, "Oh, I'm going to give up. I'm going home." And just then, there's always in a story, suddenly, the wind began to blow. Shh, shh, and the boy was trying to stand up. And something dropped out right from the sky and dropped down at his feet. He picked it up. It was the color red. There was no window. There was no door. Kind of had like a chimney. He wondered, maybe. So he ran all the way home and he yelled, "Mom, Mom!" She said, "What? Is this the little red house? Hasn't got windows, no windows. Star? Is there a star inside?" His mother said, "I don't know. Why don't we look?" So on this particular day, the mother took a knife, and she usually cut the apple this way when she put peanut butter on it after school. But on this particular day, the mother simply took the apple, placed it on its side, and she cut it right down the center. And the crunching sound and the smell so sweet. And there it was, the star. Ladies and gentlemen, and a little boy and a little girl, grown men have come up to me. In fact, this was an education. All teachers, they came up to me. They said, "How did you put that star in there?" No, and let me tell you, I have cut hundreds of apples over the years. Red apples, green apples, Granny Smith, Macintosh, all these new varieties, wine, sweet, Gaia, and no matter what color the apple is on the outside, they all have a star where? On the inside. And I like to think it's like people. Even a white person, not one by the same color, the same apples, no matter what. We're all the same. And so, on that note, that's my story, and Ruth loved it. And now, just for the fun of it, I'm going to teach you how to sign a song. It's an American, song that everybody knows. So some of you may not know it. But what we need for this is, we heard a poem about the river. Imagine a stream of water. This is the sign for W. Make a W. 1, 2, 3. Pinky and thumb in, that's a W. Sign water, then sign language is water. But I'm talking about water. Where? Right in front of you, you have a stream of water. Make a stream. You're all in your own boat. This is boat. See? Boat. Now put your boat in the stream. Now you're alone, so you're sitting in your boat. You're going to pick up the oars, and we're going to sign it one line at a time. And I'm going to, okay, after the first line, I'm going to say stop and teach you the rest. Okay, from the top, one more time. Water. Row, row, row your boat. Stop. Gently down the stream. I don't have to show you the signs for gently down the stream. Why? The boat is here. The stream is here. Just take the boat and go gently down the stream. Don't go like that, though. I'll get seasick. Okay. Okay, again. Water. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Now the sign for life that I use is, this is an L, this is an L. Some people go life, but I don't think it's life. Not my life. What does that really mean? It's life. Okay, life is but, shrug your shoulders, a dream. The sign for dream, I love this. Take your pointer finger, tap your forehead, and wiggle it up to you. Look at all those dreams. Okay, so it's water. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream.
All right.
But you know what? If you see an alligator, don't forget to scream. So that's one of my favorite stories to teach, and hope you enjoyed it. I know Ruth loved it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I did a little bit of journalism as a young person, and the thing is, the worst thing to get wrong is someone's name, so I was like, my name wrong. It's Marlon Carey, as in like Mariah. So Marlon like Brando, Carey like Mariah. This is a wonderful opportunity to be here. It was great to hear Mama Linda, who is the head of the National Association of Black Storytellers. I'm with the Rhode Island Black Storytellers, which is a branch off of NABS. But Brother Blue and Sister Ruth were essential to forming NABS and making it work. You talked about the oral histories. Sister Ruth contributed so much. I didn't know all this because we talked about it. Like, man, there's a lot more to the story. So I love sitting here and being able to talk about these two wonderful people. I'll tell you a little bit about my history with all of this. I grew up in Dorchester. I came from Jamaica, West Indies, Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, New York during crack era, 1986. You're walking around, you're stepping on crack vinyls. That's how New York was for me, coming from Jamaica, where I used to pick a mango from a tree when I wanted it. I came to the US where I had to buy a mango for like $2, and they're green. So, a very different experience for me, but we left from New York shortly after being 4 years, and then I came in 1990 to Dorchester, 12 years old, and all the puberty, all the stuff, like Boston for me. Red Sox fan, Celtics fan, Patriots fan when they used to lose. Like Boston is the place that I called home. Because I grew up here and a lot of great experiences, a lot of formative years here. So I go to college, North Carolina, St. Andrews College, small school down south. I bumped into them when I was at a college fair, working with the Museum of Science Boston. They brought their best students out, and I knocked over this guy's card display and apologetically filled out the card. And then they called me. And I wanted to go to Howard really badly. Just dying to go to Howard. It's the Black Harvard, as they say. I want to go. But St. Andrews was where my heart was. And I ended up going to this school, which is one of, in a book. There's a book called 40 Schools That Change Lives. And St. Andrews College is one of those schools. So did my degree there, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Creative Writing. And I come back. And I am on fire for poetry. I want to go to every single poetry event there is, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, every single day. I was going. I went from doing part-time jobs to eventually working at the Museum of Science as an adult. I was associate editor. There were 39 departments in this Museum of Science. If you saw anything that was print at the museum between 2001 and 2003, right? Just before 9/11. happened, I was securely working as an associate editor at the Museum of Science. So that if you saw anything in print, anything on the roofs, anything on the cups, anything on the invitations, the courses and travel catalog, I touched it in the time. It was a pretty good job, really important thing, but I started doing more and more performances in the schools. Started getting involved in taking a day off of my really important job and performing for an auditorium for the students. Had a wonderful time. So I met Brother Blue at one of these sorts of things where I was being a poet and not an editor. And I was performing, I think it was at the Club Passim or some other club nearby. in Cambridge. And I went, and I met this gentleman, and I was like, I don't know what he's doing. And he would do things like take Shakespeare, you know, and turn it into jive. Like, dig, see, there's a guy named Rome's, and Rome's has a girlfriend named Jules, and he would just tell the story, and I never understood it. You know, as I got older, you know, because I was like 20-something, I was like, this guy, what's he doing? You know, I'm trying to establish myself as a young black man. And he seemed so far away from everything. I was like, he's making fun of this. What's going on? But I would see him in Central. I would see him over in Harvard, all these different places, performing out loud. And each time I get a little closer, listen a little more. And I'd hear a little more. And then he would show up at all my events. The first time he ever saw me perform, he said to me, oh man, bro, you remind me of a young Langston Hughes, man, the way you move the word. Keep doing your thing, man. Oh, keep doing it. And every single time I put on a show in this town, these two were there. In the front row. If I had nobody else there, I'm not even lying to you, they would be there. And I go, how'd you even find out I was doing this show? And every single time, keep doing your thing. Keep going, young man. You're a wonderful asset to the community. We love your talent. And I respected them so much more as I got to know the people, come to find out that the Blue was Hugh. And he was Harvard and Yale. And Yale because they wouldn't let him do his project to go and do stories for prisoners. He said, another Ivy League. I didn't know about the World War II stuff. I didn't know how much more amazing this gentleman was. But every time he was there, there was Sister Ruth, who held it down, who was the foundation. I'm a performer. I got my shows with me today. Wherever I go, I have this wife who has to manage some of the stuff. The scheduling, the late night, the check didn't come right away. You gotta wait for this thing. I mean, I've got the same sort of thing, a foundation, a woman who holds me down to allow me to do this crazy poetry, storytelling thing. And I appreciate her so much. I think about how their story played out, that he went first. I think about my life. And will my wife be left with my legacy, with the things that I was trying to get done? And would she love me and care for me enough to keep that going, to form an organization for it, to build a legacy around it? See, there's a story that maybe connects all of this. It is a story that the person who would have been here, the wonderful Valerie Tutson, who was the head of the Royal Black Storytellers, might have told. So here's how it goes. A long time ago, and this is a story in Africa, right? I'm wearing some African garb, talking about the more I get into storytelling, the more African I get. Start leaning into my Jamaican roots and getting into God and thinking about things like that. So this story is about Africa. So there was a man who was a hunter, and he was one of the greatest hunters ever. He loved to go out, and according to one storyteller, because many storytellers tell the story, but one storyteller actually said that this man was such a great hunter, he would look at the animal, the gazelle, the buffalo, the wildebeest, and he would drop dead, because they were afraid that he was going to come and actually hunt them. Oh! So one day, he said to his family, his wife and his 4 children, he had 2 daughters and 2 sons. Some storytellers tell it differently, but I wanted to have inclusion. 2 boys, 2 girls in this particular story, and he says goodbye to all of them. I'm gonna go hunting. And he goes off with his spear into the woods, and he travels through all kinds of dark and green and all shady territory to go and find whatever he's trying to find. And everyone at home was waiting for him to come home. And they remember he had said to them, do not eat dinner until I've arrived. I will return. And so back home they waited. And they waited. And they waited. And then they waited some more. And it became dark. And the children's bellies started grumbling. And I have children, you better know, they're only cute when they're not hungry. When they're hungry, they and so they were giving the mother a hard time, and she felt bad. She said, okay, we will eat. And the food was cold. It was poor comfort because they were thinking about the father. But the next day, they resumed the daily activities. They had breakfast and lunch, they did the fields, and they did all the other things. And Mama was with child, so a week went by, 2 weeks went by, a month went by, and before you knew it, everyone had sort of forgotten about father. And then the baby came, and he was beautiful and wonderful, and they named him Puli. And Puli was cute, and he walked around, and he stumbled around. Like, most babies' first words, goo goo, gaga, mama, dada. Puli's first words were, "Where is my father?" And suddenly everyone remembered Papa. Oh my goodness, we hadn't looked for him. And so the 4 children said, we have to go look for Papa. And so they said, Mama, we will go. And they left Puli and Mama at home, and they go off and they trudge through all these different dangerous, thorny, craggly places, but they keep going till they find a clearing, and they find some bones. But his father's spear, it has rusted, but it is his spear, and there's his shield, and this is Papa. And so the first child says, well, Papa showed me one time how to put together bones. I'll put him back. We can't bring him back like this. Mama would not recognize him like this. We will put the bones. And so this child put the bones back together so it looked like a human skeleton. And then the other child said, wait. We can't bring him like this. I know how to put some sinew and some muscle upon these bones. And did that. And said, well, that looks good. But the third child said, wait. I know how to put blood into that body. And so he blood into the body, and then the other child said, well, we can't leave it like this, all sinewy. I know how to put skin on, and this might look like our father. And then they all blew air. Could you guys blow air at me right now? Oh, yeah, hold on. Okay, so the air of life went into this body, and Papa woke up, and he saw his children, and he said, what am I doing here? And he said, Papa, you were dead. You were gone for months. We just brought you back. So did the bones, and so did the skin and the sinew. We blew a breath of life, and you're back. And he says, okay, let us go home. And he got this rusty spear, and they traveled back all the way through all this forest, back to the house. And they get back to the house, and Mama is very happy, and the villagers are very afraid at first. But he's a good spirit. He's been brought back in a good way. So they go, okay, he's alive. This is good. And so they celebrate, and they begin to throw a feast. And Papa says, wait a minute. We'll do the feast, but please go and get me the fattest cow. And you will kill it, but bring me the tail. And so they go, and they get the tail, and they bring it to him. And Papa turns the tail into a beautiful cow tail switch. You know what that's for? Some say it's for correcting errant children. However, you walk around like this for the flies, like the cow would, right? So, and he walked around the village. And this is when he wanted to speak. He would raise the cowtail switch. It was beautiful, covered with jewels and shells, and it was a gorgeous piece. Everyone wanted it. Everyone said, please, you can have a couple of my wives. You can have my fields. You can have the goat. You can have my child. No. This is not for sale. I will give this cowtail switch to the child or to the person who is most important to getting me back. Now, do you think it was the one who put the bones together? The one who put the sinews on? The one who put the flesh on? The one who put the blood in? The one who blew the breath of life in? Well, this is kind of a dilemma story. In Africa, they let you figure it out. But the legend also goes that Papa says, no, none of these is correct. This cowtail switch will go to Puli, my youngest. Because until Puli said his first words, where is my father? You had forgotten me. You did not go looking for me. You would not have thought to go find my bones and put them together if it had not been for young Puli asking that question. So Puli will receive this. Until we forget a person, they are not gone. So as long as we continue to tell the stories and keep bringing together, talking about these wonderful, wonderful people who gave us stories and brought us stories and are part of our story. They are part of my story. I would not be the poet that I am, the storyteller that I have become, if it had not been for my interactions with these two individuals who coincidentally helped form the organization that I work for now. Until we forget, they're not dead. So continue telling the stories, continue celebrating them, because they are alive in us.